right, everyone. Looks like we just went live. So this is going to be an exciting webinar for you all, but it's always good courtesy just to give it another minute or two for people to keep tuning in. Whenever we've hosted webinars in the past, we usually have people joining us from all different parts of the world. So we'll start in just a sec to kind of give everyone a chance to connect here. I can see that a few people have already joined, so welcome to those that are here. Now, our favorite thing to do in the beginning is find out where everybody is joining us from. So it's kind of a fun little thing that we like to do. There's a little chat box at the bottom window here, the Zoom window, where you can type in your location. So which city, state, or country are you in? Are you in the US or international? I'm in Ventura, California, and Bruce is in Moorpark, California. Both cities are Southern California region, and we're enjoying some very, very nice weather today. I hope it's the same for where everyone else is. So yeah, let's see where some people are joining us from. So we got people from Mississippi, Los Angeles, very close by near here. Montana, very beautiful out there. You got Tampa, Florida, very nice. Minnesota, France. We got people joining us from across the pond. I like it. You got Little Rock, Arkansas. You got Lake Elsinore. You got Ukraine. Very nice. See people from Ukraine joining us. Got people. I always like when we have the international folks join us because it's always kind of humbling to be like, wow, we can have this technology that can join people from all different parts of the world. Couldn't really do this 30 years ago doing these live conferences like this. So then you have people from Phoenix, you got people from Alaska, Nashville, Atlanta, Pennsylvania, Texas, got Cincinnati, you got Toronto, you got Pittsburgh, you got Florida, Chicago. Chicago is where Bruce is initially from, so hello to Bruce's homeland. You got Ohio, Bend, Oregon, Tennessee, London, India, New Mexico. Wow, we got people from all over. And yeah, obviously we got people from Mexico, another one from Ukraine. Awesome. So we got people from all over the place. I really, really like to see that. That's really great to see. Well, thanks everybody for letting us know where you're joining. That was really a lot of fun. We very much appreciate you taking the time with us today. So we'll go ahead and get started now. A quick introduction on myself. My name is Dylan Vibert. I'm the senior producer here at Bruce Clay Incorporated, and I'm involved in all of our video productions we do for the company. Now, I think it's safe to say that most of you are probably somewhat familiar with SEO or SEO concepts. It's search engine optimization and the tactics we use to optimize our websites for better search results, specifically on Google. Now, we know that Google is constantly changing their algorithms, and that can be very challenging to keep up with everything. So this is what leads us to what we're going to be presenting in today's webinar, the 5 takeaways from Google's explosive March update. We actually debated whether or not we should put explosive in the title of that, but we just thought it'd be a lot more fun because it really was kind of a big one. This was a big update. So whenever Google does something like this, it becomes a mad scramble for all of us to figure out what the changes are and how to fix them. Now, if your rankings have changed or if you've been affected by this latest update, of course, we're not here to tell you that you should panic. Unless it has affected you really bad, then maybe you should probably just give us a call and we'll talk with you how to fix that real quick. But having been in this industry for decades, we've been through changes like this many, many times. And we know it can be a little distressing. And yes, we're all looking for answers for how to fix our sites with these changes. But what you really need is wisdom in order to figure out how you should be doing or what you should be doing first. Now, this is why an SEO expert like Bruce can be very beneficial to you. But if you haven't heard of Bruce Clay before, if it's the first time you've ever been to one of our webinars or heard of him, it'd be perfectly understandable to be a little skeptical of his expertise without some context. So let me give you a quick background on Bruce before I hand it over to him. He started his SEO company in 1996. That was before Google even existed, before all these changes were happening. And the company has since then gone to be grown on multiple continents across the world. He has trained thousands and thousands of students across the globe for decades and has been a key presenter at major search conferences like SMX, Affiliate Summit, Brighton, and PubCon. He has won multiple awards, and if you were to search right now for who is the father of SEO, he is the featured snippet for that query. So if you're the father of SEO, I imagine that means you know more about it than pretty much anybody else. But the fact is, Bruce has been helping countless clients over the past 28 years overcome these algorithm changes. He's an expert that has been in the business longer than most any specialist out there, and we believe that experience is unmatched in this industry. So with all of that being said, I just want to note that although these 5 takeaways Bruce is going to be speaking about are very, very helpful, We also hope you know there's way more to this that can be explained in an hour. This is just the tip of the iceberg of not only what is needed, but it's also a preview of what we can teach you about SEO. We firmly believe that SEO is a constant learning process. It's not a one and done project. That's why you need to stay till after Bruce's presentation, because we have a ton of more stuff to offer you involving our SEO training program. It's a program that will give you access to tons of SEO training resources from Bruce himself. So be sure to stick around for that, because we have a special offer for you. And after that, we get to have some fun by taking some questions from you at the end. You can submit your questions in the Q&A box below in the Zoom window while Bruce is giving his presentation. You can also type them in the chat box as well, where everyone kind of was telling us where they're from. But sometimes they kind of get lost in the thread in the chat box, so it's always better to just submit them in the Q&A box. We'll get to all of that very, very soon, though. But for now, I just want to say thank you all again for tuning in, and I'll go ahead and hand it over to Bruce, and we'll chat again in a minute. Bruce, it's all yours.
All righty. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. The topic today is really March updates, but I'm going to start with a quick little reminder. Years ago, Google actually was being referred to, when they did their updates, they were referred to as the Google Dance. And what used to happen is that Google would make a change, but the way they would do it is they would just change it and put it live. And then everybody would freak out, and then Google would back it off. It's sort of like the hokey pokey, right? You go, yeah. And then they would make another change and it would go live, and then they back it off, and then it goes live, and then they back it off. And the evolution was that Google has so many teams now working on the updates that the updates are really structured in a little bit of a different way. So I'm going to just describe it to you so you understand. It isn't really so much of a dance anymore. Google actually has test environments. We've heard of the quality raters, and they basically do the Google dance with the quality raters. And so we don't see it. We just see the final version. And the intent of the final version is that the overall quality is considered to be improved over the initial quality. That it used to be here, it is now better. And that is highly subjective, in my opinion. The Quality Rater Guidelines gives them guidelines. That's where EEAT came from. All of those things are in place, and that's the way Google does it. But I wanted you to understand that when we ourselves are now dealing with a Google Core update or a spam update or any of these updates, that the dance has already happened. That people have reviewed the before and after, and there's a general consensus that the after is improved, and that's what they roll out for all of us to appreciate, or not. And in fact, most of it is not necessarily appreciated. The kind of thing that people talk about on a core update, nobody ever talks really about the core update doing great things for them. The vocal people are the ones that took the beating in the core update. And that's something that we hear an awful lot about. So how's a core update work? How's a spam update work? These are different teams within Google, even within the algorithm, or yes, within the algorithm, there are systems. One system may be dealing with on-page, one may be dealing with off-page. Let's keep it simple. Those systems are different teams. So one team is trying to improve on-page, one team is trying to improve the off-page, and occasionally there's going to be a system-wide update that affects all these systems. I mean, it's across the entire algorithm. And in the case that we're talking about for March, there were two updates done at the same time. One was for spam, one was a core update. But Google indicated it would take longer to roll out the core update because it impacted multiple systems. It wasn't just one system rolling out its updates because it was codependent upon the other systems. So that's what made this more explosive, that it was able to impact a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. Now, the other thing that we just want to remember is Google openly and repeatedly says, if you get impacted by a core update, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's suppose you rank well and your site has got all the right bells and all the right whistles and all the right places, and you rank well. And all of a sudden you get up in the morning and you're not there anymore. And there was a core update. Well, one of the things that we should understand is the core update may be a usability update. And somebody somewhere in one of these or multiple of these systems may have flipped a switch that said, suddenly, if you don't have a video, you won't rank. Now, I know that sounds a little strange. You were doing everything right. The top 5 sites have videos. You don't, but you ranked. And now all of a sudden, the fact that you don't have a video has suddenly become more important to the Google algorithm, and therefore you don't rank. And when things like that happen, it isn't saying you did anything wrong. It's just saying you're not doing as many things right. And Google is clear. The intent is to improve the experience for the searcher. It is not to worry about our websites. Our website, Google could care less about our websites. If we were not in the index, they'd still have a million more. They don't care about us. If we have good data, if we qualify, we win. And remember, there's no such thing as a free lunch. We, as SEOs, must pay the price for the free traffic, right? If the price is, I have to invest in video, if that were the issue. If that was the price, then that's my price. And if I'm not going to do it, that's my choice. But don't expect Google to just arbitrarily think that out of a million sites for each keyword, by the way, each keyword's its own project. Each one has its own competitors. Each one has its own intent. Every one of them is different. If you think that Google owes us ranking, you're wrong. We have to earn it. And earning it is sometimes a little bit more difficult than one would think. So what we're going to do in today's session is I'm going to walk through things that really impact the update and how we should view it and how we should cope with it. This isn't a, hi, push this magic easy button and you're suddenly going to rank in the update, because you won't. You have to understand what the pieces are and start thinking more like your users and understand what's going on. We have multiple domains. They're pretty powerful domains. Our main site is for services. The training site is for training. We'll talk about that later. The tools site is about our proprietary tools, and PreWriter is a brand new product of ours due to be released in approximately 3.5 weeks. So we're pretty close on all those. PreWriter is actually an amazing thing. I'm really excited about it. All right, into the presentation. the number of changes that Google makes is a lot. And you need to understand that there's a core update, and usually a core update is a system-wide update. It may be one or two or all systems. It may be across the entire Hummingbird algorithm. Those are bigger coordinated updates that are system-wide. But separate from that, Google has indicated, the last number I heard was 5,000 times a year they make a change. Now, for those of you that understand and have been around a while, we realize that 5,000 is like a dozen a day. Let's round it off, a dozen a day. And I believe that 4 or 5 of those dozen is fixing what was broken yesterday. But they're small. They don't impact everybody. So there's no real dance, but quite frankly, the Google dance is still going on. Google changes everything every day. And it may just impact one industry, or it may just impact video, or it may just impact speed, road of the images, or it may just impact a little bit of everything, but not enough to be worrisome. But there's a lot of changes. You can't change 12 times a day without noticing it, ultimately. So that's what's happening, right? And our job as SEOs is to pay attention. And if something shifts, we have to know about it. Now, one of the things in our tools is we have ranking results. And one of the things that we have found is the ranking results from every kind of ranking tool out there are moderately inconsistent. One tool will say you're in position 4, one will say you're in position 2, one will say you disappeared, one will not disappeared. So it's very difficult to monitor the live environment. And so when we see changes, I cannot say that, oh my goodness, we need to worry about it because I went from position 5 to 8. I don't worry about those things because tomorrow I'll be back at 5. And half the time, if I go in and do a search, I'm still in 5, not in 8. But ranking monitors can get us concerned. The weather reports that we see can get us concerned. Worrying about it is not something that we can do. Let's just understand it changes. We pay attention. If it is consistent, we drop traffic and it stays down, then I think we need to worry about it. But there are rules, and we just need to understand what all the rules are so that we can play the game. If you don't know the rules, you can't play the game. That's simple. So we're going to have to pay attention. The next is we're going to have to focus on things that we control. Now, Google's not going to publish anything that says, oh, by the way, to rank, you have to have a video. They're never going to tell us what we have to spend money on. They're not going to give us anything. They're not going to do that. But the things that inherently we need to do are pretty well understood. We need to have a solid website structure with hierarchies. In the training area, we talk about it a lot is siloing. You can do, if you do a search for SEO silos, you'll find that there's like 30,000 pages to talk about how to do it. 30,000. And yeah, siloing is critical. But if you're not going to pay the price, don't be, you shouldn't be surprised by the results you don't get for the work you didn't do. Quality content. Yep, that's going up a lot. It used to be that SEO was on page and even links were much more important than quality. And now content has evolved to the point where it is right up there. And you got to have it. And optimization. You can't rank for a keyword you don't use. Internal linking is actually far more important than links from external sites. You need a couple of authorities. Yeah, I got it. Somebody has to say, you know what you're talking about. But 100 million links isn't going to help you. The technical SEO is something we're going to have to pay attention to. We all understand all this, all the things on the page. I don't have to read it. What we have to remember is that the game that we all play, and by the way, we are playing a game every day in a live index, right? This is about as much fun as you can have. We get to actually make changes to things to improve them in a live index that if it messes up, companies can go broke. Now, I'm positive not everybody thinks that way, but that is the obligation of an agency. And we take it seriously. And we play that game and we pay attention and understand that we are not here to beat the search engine. We're here to beat the competition. And this is just one of my mini rants. You have the ability to look at a search engine and you can do all sorts of things with a search engine. It's great. However, it's the weapon we bring to SEO wars. So we have to focus on the things we control. It's our choice if we put the video on the page. And it isn't Google's fault if they change their algorithm. Next, it is, as I just said, it is about the competition. So part of what we have to do is study the top 5 sites. Research. If all of the top 5 sites have videos and you don't, I would think twice about not doing a video. You have to do videos. We have done it. We put them on all of our major pages. I have Dylan. He's a producer. That's what he does. That's how important it is. I think we really need to do that. We can't be different and be better. We have to be equal than better. So figure it out, understand what everybody else is doing, and then beat them. Now, AI content is a long topic, and I don't want to dwell on it too excessively, but everybody should understand AI is here. It isn't going away. It just isn't going to go away. It is going to be around. It may change in form. It may change in a lot of things. We even have our pre-writer AI tool, but we need to understand AI is a tool. It isn't a solution. It doesn't replace SEO. I mean, I can ask it all sorts of SEO questions. It gives me cool answers, but it's really the intellect. I mean, if we cannot innovate, we're not going to be any better than everybody else. We have to understand and be ahead of the curve. We have to know where Google is going, not where they've been. We have to focus on things like that. So, AI generated content? Sure, kind of. We believe that you use AI to generate the briefs, the outlines, the profiles. You can use it to do persona research. You can use it to do the research. But you can't use it to create the art. So understand the pre-writer is pre-writer and that your writer finishes it. If you think that you're going to plug in something, get a page from AI, and by the way, we read those things and they seem totally plausible. They're exactly what you want. But if you've ever done that and then run it through a product called Free GPT, and there's others, you're going to find that it's 86% AI. There's a footprint all over it. You can't, it's almost like a watermark. You can't get out of it unless you rewrite it. But it's a great outline. It's a great help. So if you're publishing straight from AI and you think you're fooling Google, wrong. Even if you rank, AI is going to be last among equals? Is it considered spam? Not anymore. It was, but not anymore. However, understand how Google changes things. They used to say, don't do this. And then they stopped saying it. Because if you're going to be stupid enough to do it in the first place, it's not their job to tell you not to do it. But if you do it, they just won't reward you for it. And that's where AI is. If you use AI, that's your right. Go ahead and use AI. They changed their policy. It openly says it just has to be helpful. But in my opinion, AI is last among equals. You have to have the writer involved. You have to improve it. And that's a very, very big part of how you beat these algorithm updates. You pay attention, you listen, you watch, you try, but you don't color outside of the lines because you're going to lose. Ongoing training. Right. So we're going to talk about training next, our training, but understand there's multiple layers to training. And I just want to emphasize a little bit about it. One layer of training is this is how SEO works. And that allows you to get in and understand the structure and process and reasons that you do things with SEO, right? And so that you can answer questions and really improve your overall website. Then another kind of training is everything's an easy button. You know, I show you, you push the button, I'm showing you reports, I'm telling you how to interpret it, and I'm an auto shop and you're telling me how to fix an insurance company. That doesn't help you. What you need to do is understand SEO. So when you get into SEO, you better learn it. You better learn best practices. You better learn not to color outside of the lines. By the way, that's a difference. There's a difference between I am coloring outside of the lines in an intuitive way that's innovative and it's not a violation. And the other way is it is a violation. So we have to be very careful about how we actually do all this stuff. Those are the things that we have to pay attention to. I was doing a presentation at SMX, and it was a really big room. It was one of those combined sessions. So I'm doing my presentation, and I said out loud to the entire audience, if you are a spammer, understand this. If Google were to walk up behind you and your first intent is to close the lid on your PC, you might be a spammer. Now, right around that time, I heard 20 to 30 PC lids close. It was really a loud, it was actually everybody started laughing. It was that blatant. But really, if you're trying to fool the search engine in the ranking, that's a bad idea, right? We, on our website, I monitor 550-ish keywords daily. And our top 10 ranking has not taken a hit for any core update for 10 years since they started doing them. I have not taken a hit at all. You can almost put a level on the top of it. And I use the same keywords, even though I have more in another project. I use the same keywords because it allows me to see consistently how things are performing. And you actually can become immune to updates. Seriously, if you really pay attention, if you really follow the rules, if you understand how SEO works and you follow those rules, you're going to rank and rank well. And I think that's really a very big part of what's important here. Um, Now the Q&A, I really would love for everybody to stick around for Q&A because I can answer an awful lot of questions. You half hour, I don't have time to build a lot of stuff into a half-hour pitch, but I have plenty of time to answer questions. And I would encourage all of you, since you're already here, to stick around um, and participate in the Q&A. Now, a part of a webinar, as all of you understand, is to explain things that will help you, but it also gets into what is the core reason we're doing the webinar in the first place. And we are, as a business, we're dedicated to mentoring, training, and helping the industry. You can't be in an industry called the father of SEO. You can't be in that position without caring about the industry. And I really care. And we really need everybody to understand that the real way to beat a core update is to understand SEO, understand real SEO, to understand where the search engine is starting to go, to pay attention to movement and not try to overanalyze a single hiccup. Can we beat it? Sure, we're doing it. We do it every day. But a big part of it is you got to understand SEO. That's just the way it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Dylan. Let him have control of the clicker, if you will. And so he should be able to walk you through a few slides. And then what I'm going to do is come back and we're going to do the Q&A. And as I said, I really hope everybody's around for the Q&A. What we're going to talk about is about our training program, just a few minutes, but the Q&A is really going to be important for you. So please stick around. Dylan, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. Yeah, and just to add on to what you've been talking about, we've seen a lot of these changes that Google's done over the years. Like we've been through it all. The joke you always make, Bruce, is that, since 1996, you've been through two wars, the plague, 9/11, and, now AI. So like we've been doing this a lot. We've seen a lot of changes. There's been things that have been going on for quite a while. And competing in this industry, there are always going to be many disruptions. Again, AI is a big one we're going through right now. So you need a way to stay up to date on what's happening in the world of SEO. It's what we do for a living on our end, but we know that's not necessarily what everybody's doing for a living on their end. So this is kind of the challenge we all face. And we understand that all of these takeaways that Bruce just shared about, they can be easy to say on our end and say, oh, it's just this oversimplified version, but it's not really easy to implement. And we totally understand that because SEO is not a simple task. It's not a flip of a switch and then it can be solved by throwing tons of money at it. It's just not how it works. It's the hard reality. To survive in this industry, it requires skill, problem solving, and knowledge. That means you have to make SEO knowledge a priority if you want to survive these constant changes from Google, which also means you need to make training a crucial and important priority to understanding SEO. And if you're stuck trying to figure it all out by yourself or with a downsized team, unfortunately, you might be pushing a rock up hills. But the good news is that we know that we can help you with this. So some of you may know this, but Bruce used to teach SEO training course for many years prior to the pandemic. Once all that happened in 2020, we didn't know if we were ever going to bring back the in-person training experience we offered. Well, as of this year, we have officially brought back the in-person training experience, and it was met with rave reviews. The unfortunate news is that we actually just hosted our last one earlier this month. So the next one probably isn't going to be until August or September of this year. We'll be announcing some dates for that soon. So if you are interested in the in-person training experience where Bruce actually will meet you in person at the Hyatt Hotel, probably in Southern California, don't hesitate to reach out to us about that. We can follow up with you once we have more information, but that's probably later this year. We've had many people that were attending that training course that have taken the course 10 times. It's crazy. And the reason they keep coming back is because it's in conjunction with what we're talking about, is that there's always changes to SEO. The training isn't just a once and just take this knowledge and go with it, that'll be good forever. There's always something new to learn because of all these changes Google's doing. Now, between the pandemic and all these long stretches between our training dates, we decided to offer our SEO training experience as an online experience. We produced an online training program that allows you to now take the training remotely and allows you to take the course at your own pace at any time you like, which is obviously not something you can do with the in-person training. It's called the Bruce Clay SEO Training and Membership Program. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about it because it's a lot more than just your standard SEO training course. No, this is a membership program that will give you access to tons of SEO resources at your disposal. We didn't just want to provide one video training course of Bruce talking about SEO, so we built an entire program that gives you tons of SEO resources at your disposal, and that makes this the gold standard in SEO training. So what comes with a membership program? Well, if you sign up and become a member, you're going to have access to a few things. First and foremost, is going to be access to the entire SEO training course that is presented by Bruce. This is the heart of the membership program, and this course alone extends out to over 15 hours long. So you'll have plenty to start with if you sign up with this. As you can see on this slide, it's broken up into 12 different sections that covers multiple topics of SEO. We cover SEO concepts, linking strategies, content, best practices, and the most popular one is siloing. Trust us, 90% of people who take our course say siloing was the most eye-opening subject, so you'll definitely want to know more about that. And it's exactly just like the in-person training that Bruce gives. It's just simply a kind of video version of how the training would go. So as you can see, it basically, you have access to the entire video. You have access to this entire video library of Bruce giving the training. It's broken up into multiple video modules. So this training course is just like the in-person training course, like I said. And we actually have a few demo videos of what it's like to view the course on our YouTube channel. So you can go ahead and go check those out as well if you're curious to see what it looks like. Now, it is the main feature we offer in the membership program, but it's certainly not the only feature. We have multiple other resources available to you once you sign up and become a member. And I'm going to share with you a little bit more about them now. You're also going to have access to what we call mini courses, which are essentially deep dive videos where we take a particular SEO subject and we kind of jump into the weeds to help you better understand it. There's also another series of videos we produce, which is our Ask Us Anything series, where we answer questions you have submitted to us as members. I think we have like over 150, maybe even more than that, of just these video series alone. So there's a lot of like very kind of broad, very commonly asked questions that we get all the time that we've answered in 2-3 minutes. Very, very useful series, but again, over 150 videos of just that alone. So in addition to the training course, both of these video series allow you to access to a library of knowledge on popular SEO subjects, and it's very, very beneficial. But if videos aren't your thing, we have plenty of other written resources available to you. For instance, we have another cool feature that allows you to read or download our ebooks. They're very, very extensive, and they provide a very thorough overview of what to do on a particular SEO topic. And again, if you go through these documents, they are very extensive. It's a lot of information on there. But let's say you would like more interaction when learning about SEO. There's also our discussion forums where members can post and share different SEO topics to discuss with other members. We wanted to present a way for members to communicate with each other because we believe sometimes the best pieces of information can come from those that are also learning. That's kind of how it would happen in the in-person training. People ask questions, you learn from their questions, kind of that more interactive experience that comes with it. And if all of that is not enough, we also have our own branded set of SEO tools that you can use on your own site. Our SEO toolset is a wonderful resource that allows you to analyze your site for all kinds of SEO improvements. Now, technically, the SEO toolset is separate from the membership program, which is why it's got its own URL here. So you can purchase the SEO toolset without the membership program, but you can access it for free if you sign up for the training membership, and we think it's much better for getting a 2-for-1 kind of deal. And lastly, which is a lot of people's most favorite aspect of the training course, aside from the training course itself, is our monthly Q&A calls with Bruce. So every month we hold a Q&A session just like this, and you can ask your SEO questions live. As a member, the Q&A experience is a lot more exclusive and allows you more direct access to Bruce, as well as to our SEO team of experts. We already have dates listed for the next Q&A, so you can mark your calendars now for another round of Q&A if you would like direct access to Bruce. So as you can see, this is clearly just more than a training course that you take one time and that's it. No, that's not how SEO works. It's a constant learning process. You need a way to stay up to date and to continue learning SEO as it changes and evolves. We are constantly adding videos to the program, and right now we're focusing on bringing the subject of AI into the course, and it's such a revolutionary subject that it's going to entirely change the program. And it's a big, big endeavor that we're working on right now. But the point is, we are changing with the times as SEO requires. We also have a team of experts who can answer your questions as you take the course. So there's plenty of support here if you need it. And all of the reasons I've listed here are why that this is the gold standard for SEO training. You're getting tons of SEO depth on a regular basis. So main question is, how do you sign up? Well, the way you want to do this is you want to head over to seotraining.com, create an account, select your payment plan, and you're all set. It's that easy. It takes less than 5 minutes to sign up and become a member. It's not all these crazy trickery of doing all this information. Just simple as that. Go create a membership account, and then you can get access to all of these great resources I just shared with you. And because you are all so generous to be with us here today, which we really appreciate, we are offering you a special discount to sign up for the membership program by May 3rd. If you go to seotraining.com right now and sign up using the promo code BruceClay2024, you'll get a $300 discount. Now, that promo code only applies to our annual online membership plan, which is our best offer because you're saving more money overall than our monthly and quarterly plans. So if you want to save a ton of money by signing up, use that promo code for the annual plan. It is BruceClay2024, all one word, no spaces. But the discount, again, is only available until May 3rd at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So be sure to sign up for that as soon as you can. Oh, and you can sign up for our monthly and quarterly membership plans if you'd like, but you don't get the discount. So the choice is yours. It's a good deal, and there's no better person to be learning SEO from than Bruce. We currently have a 95% user satisfaction rating from our online members, and we continue to see more and more people joining the program. It's really exciting. And the last thing I want to say about this, and it's just a really quick note, is that we don't deny at all that you could probably go find a bunch of other SEO training courses out there, ones that are probably even free. Again, if you ever just search SEO training courses on YouTube, which we have done, you'll come across people that have like these hour-long courses and you think, oh, this is great. I can't emphasize enough how much of a mistake that is, because any SEO expert who is worth their salt is not going to hand over all of their knowledge for free. And even if they did, which again, there's plenty of people out there that are doing this, quote unquote, their knowledge of this information, those courses are outdated because Google just changed everything. That's the whole point here, is that Google is constantly changing the game. All of that information is void now. It's not relevant. So it's just something you need to be aware of, because this is what we think makes the membership program unique, is that we are keeping up with these changes. So if you want the gold standard in SEO training, head over to seotraining.com and sign up for the online course. This is the opportunity to invest in the experts and help grow your business. Alrighty? So do that today. Alrighty. We are done with the pitch. We're done with the presentation. Now we get to the really fun part, which is the Q&A. So again, I saw some people that have already submitted some of their questions down in the Q&A box. So we'll start asking those questions as soon as possible. The main question I always get up front is there going to be a recording of this presentation sent out? Yes, there is going to be a recording. It will be sent out, so everyone will get a copy of this probably in the next day or two. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into some questions. Unless, Bruce, you have anything else to add before we start taking some Q&A?
I just wanted to, mention, yes, we really believe in education. I have been teaching master classes at various conferences for years, and they're very focused. AI is changing everything, and so as Dylan said, we're revamping our program. Yeah, you're going to have to pay attention. This the part that is, and I've said it, there's no such thing as a free lunch. The cost of the free traffic from Google is that you have a burden of staying current, right? This is not a build a website, have SEO for 6 months, and think you're done for the rest of your life. If it were that easy, everybody would be number one. And we know that doesn't happen. You think you're going to be number one. You work to be number one. There's a difference between amateurs and professionals in any sport, in any competitive environment. And we have no choice. We have to be competitive. And that's what I try to do with the training program. I try to help people be professional, to be competitive. We constantly have people who send their employees, they take the course and then they send employees to the course. As Dylan said, we've had people, the longest duration is one guy has taken it 13 times. Every year it's different. Every year they come back. Every year they get reminded of things they forgot last time or new things to pay attention to. Folks, if you're every day fighting alligators, you're not going to have enough time to remember how to drain the swamp. and so I really encourage you to be able to look at the training. I'm going to tell you right now, we have people signed up, and the biggest, everybody has a different hot button. You can take the training, the 15 hours, and you can take it, and then next month you can take it again. You're still a member. And then you can take it again. You're still a member. Or the value is in the 1 hour Q&A every month, where you get to ask, what's going on? What have you found? What can we learn from this every month? And we record them. We've got like 20, 24 months, something like that, of recordings available as part of this training program. We've covered a lot of material. This is highly valuable, but having a monthly access to an hour of Q&A, that's invaluable. So I encourage you to do it. To me, I'm offering it almost as a public service. I just have to pay for it. Anyhow, let's get into Q&A.
Yes, let's do it. Let's get into that. All right, so we got quite a few questions here, and this one came in kind of early, and it's a it's a topic that we're obviously we're very aware of, but the question's kind of broad. How will AI generated content affect rankings?
Right. As I mentioned, I truly have, by the way, I have tested this. I have tested this. So we have parts, by the way, my site is always the one I test on because I rank, so I can see it. When we run it through our writers and do the full detail, it ranks. And it's great information because it's contextual to our website. So I tried a couple of experiments where I just took the AI stuff and ran it through just to see what would happen. I inflict pain upon myself often, and those don't rank as well. They're down about 12 to 15 positions below the human edited version. Now I am currently taking the content, re-editing it human version, and putting it up. And I expect it would be top 3 to 5. I think, the answer to your question, I think that AI is last among equals if it's able to be detected. And I think AI is, if people are telling you that nobody can tell, they're wrong. That's why you have to have a writer involved. Our process, I'll tell you how serious I am about this. We do I'll give you 1 minute of training here. We have, if you look at the way a newspaper does it, they have a research department, a writing department, and a copy editing department. They don't do it because they want to spend the money doing it. They don't do it because they find it very efficient to pass things around, especially with deadlines. They don't do it because it helps them. They do it because of the quality you get out of it. Well, what we did is we took PreWriter and made it the world's a really great researcher. You know, I can't say the world's best, but it's a great researcher, and it builds an outline and a keyword list and profiles and personas and content briefs and guides, and it builds what you give to a writer. And we've been able to take our writing process from 4.5 hours to 1.5 hours. The advantage of AI is time. Just keep saying that out loud to yourself. AI is a time saver. It is a shortcut to what is common knowledge, but it isn't going to be creative, and it isn't going to be innovative, and it isn't going to be with your voice and your flair. It isn't going to be easily determined to be human, and you have to apply human to it. The search engine can easily detect if you're AI. I mentioned free GPT, and there's others, but just run it through that. I'll bet. Here's something that's interesting. We took a page that was pre-AI. I mean, it's been around. It's one of my blog posts. I took it, I ran it through free GPT, and it came out 100% human. Absolutely great. Exactly what I want. But as I said, I experiment on myself. So I then took it and ran it through Grammarly and let Grammarly correct everything. All the grammar stuff, no matter what, I just accepted it. Got it. I ran it through free GPT, and it was only 90% human. It went from 100% human to 90% human with Grammarly. You think that the search engine can't detect that? Seriously? If free GPT can detect it, Google has been working on plagiarism detection for centuries. Folks, duplicate content. They have all of the code necessary to do it in AI depth. You're not going to fool Google. I believe that pure AI published is last among equals, and I will not do it. I encourage you not to do it, but I think it's a mistake if you do. And so the answer is, even if you have AI stuff, rewrite it. Let me make a note here for everybody. Have you ever written something and then put it down and then picked it up a couple of hours later and asked yourself who wrote that? I do it all the time. I can't put something down and pick it up without rewriting it. Folks, it's because it's not in my voice, or I was too focused on answering a question, not being Bruce. And my blog posts go through that. My blog posts take days. You have to read them 2 or 3 times in order to get things right. And that's the process. If you don't involve a writer in publishing AI content, expect to be beat up. That's my answer.
There's a lot to say about this subject. And again, like, we have whole sections of the training course, that we're implementing like actual AI, not like taking over AI or just letting AI do the course, something like that, but we are infusing it with a lot of our materials because that's going to be the way of the future. That's how it's all going to be done. And that's what Google's going to be doing. So a lot to say about that. We could do hours on that subject. So, but always a good question.
Yeah.
And it's the topic of the day. So topic for years, apparently. But another question we got, Bruce, is Is the SEO training membership cost per person or per company?
Person.
Mm-hmm. Now, we do have like
Now,
bundles. All right, you can go ahead and speak to it.
yeah, I can do bundles.
Mm-hmm.
That was where I was going to go with it. Yeah, we have bundles. If you
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, I've got 5 people, work me a deal.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't understand that, I kind of own the company. I can do whatever kind of deal I want. So we do deals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely reach out and you can ask about that. And yeah, tell us how many team members you have, and we can work with your team on that. So, all right, next question, Bruce, is this is regarding video content. We work in the professional service industry. The most videos we have are office walkthrough videos, teamed with headshots. Is that kind of original, or would you recommend something else?
Well, the correct answer is no. First of all, I think that the presence of a video is half of the battle. It could be any kind of video. It can be um, the placement of the video matters. It should be at least fractionally above the fold so people can see it. It does increase your dwell time if people are viewing it. It does signal the search engine that your page is more relevant because people are spending more time on your page. There's a lot of value to the video in any form. All you really need is for it to be useful. And I think that having a useful 30-second to 5-minute video is easy. You can do that. It isn't a problem. We have videos on most of our main pages on our site. And clearly all over SEOtraining.com. We have a lot of stuff on YouTube. We have a lot of material out there that's in video. I'm a big believer in video. I think if you don't do video, a year from now, you're going to be really sad. Now, having said that, if it's screenshots walking through the office, headshots, that's fine. I don't think the material is as much an issue. However, Google is going to read your soundtrack, if you will. Google has had the ability to do searches and identification of voice and everything else for a very, very long time. I expect that there is going to be a lot of it. It is changing. Obviously, AI is going to be changing a lot of things with video, but yeah, you got to do it. And but I don't think it matters if you're doing a walkthrough, a demo. Here's my office, a couple of headshots, smiley faces. You're good. I think any video is a good video.
Most of the time. Yeah, it's obviously an engaging object that keeps people, enticed on your page. I would know as the producer for our videos, it's been a very, very big initiative that we implemented a while ago. So it's something that it's very crucial. It's very, very big, and getting sites that are kind of ranking, it's always a big component. All right, another question. What would be the number one thing you suggest to pay attention to if a company has done some SEO but plans to completely rehaul their website?
Wow. All right. So that is such a big question. That is a massive question. We do a large number of what we call migration projects. And it could be an upgrade or merging websites or changing domain names or platform changes or just rehashing the site. And we do a lot of those projects. I think there's plenty of checklists out there. Just so you know, there's plenty of checklists. We have our own. And when you start a project to do that, the question is, does SEO have a seat at the table? Or are people making decisions and SEO is not in the room? And are the people making decisions trained on SEO? Or are they going to 6 of one, half dozen of the other and always pick the wrong 6? Are they going to do things that violate best practices without you knowing it. Let me give a case in point. We had a client come to us that was going through a redesign, and it was internally driven, and they chose not to have us involved over my protests, by the way. And they did the whole migration, and this was an e-commerce site selling furniture at the time. And what they did at the end is the designers had heard that Google is going to rewrite your page titles for you in the search results. So they decided to generate their entire new site with no meta title tags. None, because Google's going to reinvent them. And their entire site fell out of the index. If you're going to trust designers with your migration, you deserve it. You can't give the keys to SEO to people who can't spell SEO. Hate to say it, but that's the reality of it. So get SEO a seat at the table. Take training, get at least a head developer through a training program of some sort, and then the two of you can actually speak the same language, understand, oh, I'm not going to go there because that's a bad idea. Understand that during the redesign, and your redesign will be probably 5 times more successful. Is there a checklist? Sure, there's lots of checklists. We run checklists. By the way, the project is before the migration and after the migration, because a lot of stuff you don't see until it's live. And the reason it's before the migration is live is too late. That's a near-death experience risk, right? You can die if you do that wrong. Truly, whatever rankings you have can go away overnight if you do it wrong. So how important is your website to the company? I'd say it's important enough that the entire company is dependent upon it. You lose your traffic, you're out of business. Yeah, involve SEO early, get them a seat at the table, make sure the key players are trained, they speak from the same hymn book, and then you can have a successful program.
Yes. All right. These are all great questions. And I know we're kind of like at the top of the hour, we just passed it. But good news is like me and Bruce are going to go for another 10, 15 minutes or so to try to answer as many questions as we can. So if you can stick around for that, awesome. Great to have you all here. So we'll go just a little bit longer before wrapping up on everything. So we'll get a few more questions. Says, Bruce, thanks for the presentation. My question is a bit off of the topic of this webinar. Is your SEO team now starting to optimize pages for search generative experience? Are there any points to look out for?
The answer is no, we're not optimizing for it. But we do know where it's going. So yeah, we're optimizing for it. Having said that, that's like, yes. Fundamentally, every single page needs a guide. So that's our optimization. If you look at my blog posts and go down to what is called the FAQ, it's really a combo FAQ guide. I put that on every page. As soon as I start putting that on every page, I'm answering all the key questions and establishing myself as a subject matter expert. A standard FAQ is wrong. It's the kiss of death. You need what I'm doing. That's my opinion, but that's the right way to do it. So yes, by putting that across our website, questions and answers and guides on about 800 pages, I think that I have established that we are able to answer questions. And if you can't answer questions, then give up on SGE. Just don't even worry about it. Google isn't going to think of you as an expert able to answer a question if you don't. You have to answer questions. That means you have to transform your entire website. It means that you have a massive content project. So if you're going to optimize for SGE, you're going to be biting off a sizable content project. Let me mention how I know. So I had 5,000 pages on my website, including blog posts from 2002. Clearly, those are not necessarily relevant. So I started a content pruning project, and I added, of the pages that were appropriate, I made them evergreen. I rewrote many of them, and I added our FAQ guide to the bottom of them. And my rankings in the top 10 went up 12%. So I was at 10, I'm at 11.2. I think that's a lot. I didn't drop. I'm stable, but I'm higher. And I think that SGE is going to appreciate it. But in order to qualify for SGE, you have to be seen as a subject matter expert, and you have to have siloing, and you have to answer questions, not on one topic, but site-wide. Everything on your site has to answer a question. That's a massive undertaking. Cost me $500,000 to do it. I mean, it was expensive, and I did it. But it's because I believe that that is the only way to be in SGE. Now, I could be wrong. SGE hasn't rolled out yet. We'll see what happens. But in my opinion, if you can qualify for a featured snippet, then you have a fighting chance for SGE to reference you. Now, I know that page one sites are not typically the ones used in SGE. Not sure why, but they are not typically the ones used in SGE. I think it's because the page one sites are the ones that are optimized the most, and there may be some sensitivity to that, but we'll see. SGE is just now becoming more mainstream. Hopefully we can make it work. Next.
Next question. For a website, do you recommend any WordPress theme that is SEO friendly and is technically correct?
No, I don't. And all of them are fine. As long as you have access to change everything, you're good. We are on WordPress. We built our own theme. So, and it works fine.
Works great. All right. Sounds good. Let's do another one. Is the length of text, sentences in them, and the number of keywords important?
Yes.
Next question.
Well, okay, so here's the issue. Usability is impacted by readability, and readability is impacted by how many commas do you have in a sentence. So I believe that shorter sentences make it easier to read, and I believe that Fog, Flesh, and Kincaid reading analysis is all a part of usability. Google has had that built into the software for 10 years. They used to even have reports on it that you could get, but they discontinued those. But they've had it forever. I believe that the length of the sentence really, really, really matters, and that if there's a comma in the middle of the sentence, think about rewriting it.
Yes. All right. Sorry. Managing a few things here. So, all right. We'll keep going. Maybe two more questions and then we'll wrap up. Any recommendations on local SEO?
Yes. All right. So local SEO is evolving. We know that the Google Business Profile is the #1 thing for local. You have to get it right. There's schema, but the schema is a little flaky. For For instance, if you can't get your image to appear, it could be because you're using the @ sign in front of the image tag. I mean, like certain things have an @ sign in the schema and certain things don't. And I think that you'll find you're mismatched. If you don't have images, if you don't have a complete business profile, you're going to have a problem. If you don't have any kind of testimonial or supporting localized links. You see, there's two things. Am I an expert on the city or region? And am I an expert on my topic? And am I an expert on both? And where people go wrong is they become a city expert or a topic expert, but they don't really blend the two. And they don't have them specific to that level of optimization. And we've done major projects in that area. A good example is a franchise type environment. If you get it wrong, you lose. You cannot do that. We've got a lot of experience. This is a bigger topic than just a question like this, but we can certainly guide. We know how to do this, and we're very good at it. So if you're interested in something like this might be a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot to say about that. And we've got one more question. And I know this is back to the AI thing. This is a very broad question, and there's a lot to say about this particular question, Bruce. But final question, what do you think the future of search is with AI?
All right, so when search came out, this was 28 years ago, I just fell in love with it. And as a programmer, which was my background, degree in math and computer science, right? So I love programming. And along comes this thing that was an algorithm. And I just loved it. And it enticed me and I got into it and I couldn't put it down. And it was 24/7. I mean, that's what I did. And I've done that for many, many years. And I've grown a business. And then along comes AI and it's all over again. I couldn't put it down. I was very excited about AI. Folks, AI is, if you're going to deal with anybody who wants to know about AI, you deal with somebody that is just so addicted to it, they can't put it down. So what we discovered was that AI is it's everywhere, right? It can write emails. That's not for search, etc. But AI in search is a game changer, and it will radically change what we see in the Google search results. However, what it is a tool, not a solution. And AI, I quickly identified that there is no suitable solution for AI. I cannot plug into AI and have it write an article that is intuitive. I can't have it invent. I can't have it do that. And when you're looking at how do I be in the top 10 out of 10 million results, you don't want to be a Me Too webpage. And I think that what we're going to see is over time, people are going to just put in a keyword. It's going to generate some content. You're going to read it. It makes sense. You're going to publish it. And all it is rewording common knowledge. And if that's what's being generated, it's going to really clutter up Google. Now, Google had Code Red. You can look it up, Code Red Google. And the original take on Code Red was that if everybody could do it, and the cost of doing it is insignificant, which by the way it is, I can generate a page an hour all day long, just publish them and publish them and publish them. We've probably all seen the nice posts of all the curves that go like this and then go like that. Google is adamant about it. You're not to clutter up their index. Remember, the Google index being in the index is a privilege, not a right. It's their index. They don't have to let you in. And if all you're doing is cluttering the index with regurgitated content that's reworded, it might be reworded, might be better than a human could write it, but it's not innovative. It is not got voice or storytelling. It is not compliant with law. It's making things up, and it's just regurgitated content. That is not going to sit well with the search engines. It never will. You can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can pre-writer it. That's where we're going. You can take a lot of research and give it to a writer to finish, but you can't publish directly. I think the biggest problem we face is that Google understands if they just let this thing run wild, the index is going to be cluttered with garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've all seen the pictures of all these interesting machines that walk around and clean all the plastic out of the rivers and lakes and ocean, right? How there's islands of plastic bottles in the ocean. I mean, all this stuff. And all of this is pre-writer content that somebody published without a writer. It's AI content. It's just regurgitated content. What you need to do is not clutter the entire landscape with just nonsense. You have to do it right. We're adamant about it. And we haven't had any problem. We've written hundreds, 900, 1,000 pages, maybe more, and used AI and then a writer. And when we do that, it ranks top 5. 60% so far ranks in the top 5. And it's growing because it hasn't been submitted yet, right? But yeah, can you do it? Absolutely. Are we able to do it? Sure. Do you want to do it wrong and risk having your site wiped out by Google? I wouldn't recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Do it right or don't do it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very well said. And again, just one little thing to add on top of that is that we've seen, and we've talked about this on our end, is that AI is one of the biggest levelers we've seen in search in a long, long time. It really is making Google vulnerable right now because of their business model and how that all works. So yeah, the future of search is really kind of we'll see what happens, but we know AI is going to be a major, major component going forward. And we're curious to see how Google adapts to that, how maybe other platforms are going to be using that. I mean, there's a lot of rumblings. We keep hearing about how different companies are kind of going to come up and really kind of put a dent in how Google's doing things. So there's going to be a lot of changes, and that's where you need to stay up to date on what's happening. And that's where, again, we recommend everybody become an online training member. Again, I just want to throw it out there again, SEOtraining.com, and use the promo code Bruce Clay 2024. That discount code is available until May 3rd, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Definitely go sign up there if you are interested in learning more about this. The good news is that although we have to wrap up here with all these questions, we're going to do another Q&A in a couple weeks, just like it's exactly in this format where you just submit your questions, any SEO questions you have, and we can get them in front of Bruce and help you out with your site on that in that aspect. So again, if you want more questions that we didn't, or if you have a question we didn't get to, submit it to the next Q&A we have if you become a member. And we'd be happy to see you all there. But this was a lot of fun for us. We really hope this was helpful for everyone. It's really great to get all the questions, and hopefully we get to see some people sign up for our membership program and see you all there so we can build our relationships. Bruce, any parting words before we wrap up and say goodbye?
I guess I kind of overdid it by letting everybody see how excited all this is. I am about all this. I teach the classroom course. I engineered the training course. I am with Dylan. He and I are the Q&A. If you think that you can tolerate my enthusiasm, I'd encourage you to sign up and attend. This is really an exciting time for all of us. You don't want to hook up with somebody that doesn't care. You can't do that.
Hmm.
quality or not at all. So
Yeah.
that's the way it should be. Anyhow, thank you all for coming.
Thanks again, everybody. We hope to hear from you soon, and you'll be getting a recording of this very, very soon. Thanks, everyone.